Have you ever wondered why we feel a strange fascination with horror? Why, even knowing that we are about to be scared, can't we resist a good horror story? The attraction to fear is an intriguing phenomenon, and understanding its nuances takes us on a deep journey through the labyrinths of the human mind. Horror, in its multiple forms, has been a constant in human narrative, from legends told around campfires to horror films we watch on cinema screens. But what exactly draws us to these stories that make us tremble? Let's find out, after the intro. Fear is a primary emotion, rooted in our biology as a survival mechanism. Since primitive times, when our ancestors faced real and constant dangers, fear served as a vital alert. Horror stories, then, touch on this ancestral part of our brain, activating responses that, in a safe context, we can experience as a form of entertainment. The heart races, the hair stands on end, and for a moment, we are fully immersed in the experience, knowing that, in the end, we are safe. But horror goes beyond a simple biological reaction. It offers us an escape from reality, a gateway to worlds where monsters are tangible and dangers are clear and present. In our everyday lives, fears are often abstract and diffuse, worries about the future, personal insecurities, social anxieties. However, in a horror story, fear is concrete and identifiable. We can face it and, in a way, defeat it. This confrontation with the unknown provides us with catharsis, a purging of accumulated tensions. Horror literature and cinema also allow us to explore the limits of our own courage. We put ourselves in the character's shoes, facing unimaginable dangers, and through them, we test our own limits. When the hero or heroine survives, we feel a personal victory, a reaffirmation that even in the face of terror, it is possible to resist and triumph. This vicarious experience strengthens our emotional resilience and gives us a sense of control over our own fears. Moreover, horror has a unique ability to unite people. How many of us have watched horror movies in groups, feeling a greater closeness with others as the scares make us jump and laugh together? Shared fear creates a bond of camaraderie, a common experience that strengthens our social connections. Horror stories, in this sense, are modern rituals that reaffirm our collective humanity. There is also a deeper psychological dimension to our attraction to horror. Freud, in his explorations of the human mind, suggested that horror stories allow us to symbolically face our own internal demons. Monsters, ghosts, and evil entities are often representations of our most intimate and unconfessable fears. By confronting them on the pages of a book or on the movie screen, we are, in fact, facing the darker parts of ourselves. The fascination with horror is also linked to our innate curiosity about the unknown and the forbidden. Horror stories take us to places we would not normally dare to go, exploring taboo themes and moral boundaries. This flirtation with the forbidden awakens our curiosity and offers us a deeper understanding of the complexities of human nature. After all, what scares us also defines us, revealing our values, our limits, and our vulnerabilities. Throughout history, every culture has developed its own legends and myths of horror, reflecting specific fears and anxieties of each society. These tales serve as a mirror, showing us the concerns and moral dilemmas of different times and places. Through horror, we can better understand the social fabric that makes up our shared humanity, seeing how each generation faces its own monsters. Finally, horror reminds us of the fragility of life and the inevitability of death. In a world where we often seek to ignore the finiteness of our existence, horror stories force us to confront this reality head-on. This confrontation, though frightening, can also be deeply liberating, leading us to value moments of peace and joy in our lives more intensely. Therefore, the fascination with horror is a complex tangle of biology, psychology, and culture. It allows us to explore our deepest fears in a safe environment, offers an escape from everyday anxieties, strengthens our social bonds, and provides us with a clearer vision of ourselves and the world around us. So, the next time you feel drawn to a horror story, remember, you are not just seeking a scare, you are embarking on a journey of self-discovery and connection with the human essence. The fascination with horror is ancient. Since the dawn of humanity, tales of frightening creatures and supernatural events have been part of human culture. In the earliest times, when the first human groups gathered around campfires, stories of monsters lurking in the shadows served both to entertain and to educate. These often exaggerated accounts helped maintain social cohesion and convey important survival lessons. The fear of the unknown and the supernatural, ever present, was a force that shaped behaviors and strengthened community bonds. As societies developed, horror tales began to intertwine with mythology and religion. Gods and demons, spirits and ghosts started to appear in stories told by different cultures around the world. In ancient Greece, for instance, mythology was full of terrifying creatures like the Gorgons and the Minotaur, symbolizing chaos and danger. In Egypt, stories of curses and vengeful gods permeated daily life, influencing rituals and beliefs. With the advent of writing, these horror tales began to be recorded, gaining new layers of complexity and reach. The earliest civilizations, such as the Sumerians and Babylonians, left records of epics that included elements of horror and the supernatural. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest known literary works, narrates encounters with monstrous beings and the quest for immortality, reflecting human fears and desires in a profound and lasting way. As literature evolved, horror continued to be a central theme. In the Middle Ages, stories of saints and martyrs often included elements of horror, with accounts of demonic possessions and battles against evil forces. Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy is a classic example, taking readers on a journey through hell, purgatory, and paradise, with vivid and terrifying descriptions of eternal suffering. During the Renaissance, horror began to mix with the growing scientific curiosity and exploration of the unknown. Stories like Goethe's Faust explored the limits of human ambition and the pact with supernatural forces. This period marked the beginning of a significant shift in how horror was perceived and consumed, paving the way for the emergence of the Gothic. The 18th century brought the height of Gothic literature, with authors like Horace Walpole, Mary Shelley, and Bram Stoker defining the contours of modern horror. The Castle of Otranto, Frankenstein, and Dracula are works that established the archetypes of horror that endure to this day. These books not only explored the fear of the supernatural but also reflected the social and scientific anxieties of the time, such as the advancement of science and changes in social structures. With the arrival of the 20th century, horror found a new medium of expression: cinema. Films like Nosferatu and Frankenstein brought horror stories to the big screen, allowing audiences to experience fear in a visceral and immediate way. Cinematic horror quickly evolved, moving from classic monsters to psychological explorations and gore, reflecting cultural changes and the anxieties of the period. The late 20th and early 21st century saw horror expand into new forms of media, including television and, more recently, the internet. TV series like The Twilight Zone and American Horror Story continued the tradition of scaring and captivating audiences, while platforms like YouTube and TikTok democratized the creation and distribution of horror content. Now, anyone with a camera and an internet connection can create and share their own scary stories, ensuring that horror continues to evolve and adapt to the times. Each generation reinvents horror, keeping it always relevant. What began as stories around the campfire evolved into written legends, iconic films, and viral videos. This constant reinvention not only keeps horror fresh and exciting but also ensures that it continues to reflect and explore humanity's deepest fears and anxieties. Horror, in all its forms, remains an essential part of our culture, offering a window into the darker side of the human experience. But why do we feel the need to expose ourselves to fear? According to psychology, fear is an essential emotion for survival. It alerts us to potential dangers, activating a fight or flight response that prepares us to react to immediate threats. This response is deeply rooted in our biology, the result of millions of years of evolution. Without fear, our ancestors would not have survived predators, natural disasters, and other dangers they faced daily. Therefore, fear is a vital tool that keeps us alert and protected. However, the need to experience fear goes beyond mere survival. Psychologically, terror plays a complex role in our lives. In a safe environment, such as when watching a horror movie or reading a scary book, we can explore this intense emotion without facing real risks. This is an intriguing phenomenon because, essentially, we are voluntarily putting ourselves in situations that simulate danger. This practice may seem paradoxical, but it is a controlled way to explore and understand our own reactions to fear. The excitation theory suggests that feeling fear in a controlled environment can be thrilling and pleasurable. When we expose ourselves to terror, our body releases adrenaline, the same chemical substance that would be released in a real danger situation. This release of adrenaline triggers a series of physiological reactions: the heart races, the senses sharpen, and there is a sense of alertness and energy. This response can be extremely stimulating, leading to an intense and thrilling experience. Once the source of fear is revealed as safe, for example, when the horror movie ends or the scary story comes to an end, there is a sense of relief that can be euphoric. This phenomenon is explained by the excitation transfer theory, proposed by Dolph Zillman of the University of Alabama. According to Zillman, the emotions experienced during the initial excitement can be transferred to the subsequent experience of relief, amplifying the feeling of pleasure. In other words, the initial fear makes the relief even sweeter, creating a cycle of excitement and release that many people find irresistible. Furthermore, horror offers us a way to confront and process deeper, underlying fears. In a safe environment, we can explore themes such as mortality, loss, and the unknown, which would otherwise be too distressing to contemplate directly. Horror stories function as a kind of symbolic therapy, allowing us to confront these fears in a distant and controlled form. This process can help reduce anxiety and increase our ability to cope with stress in real life. Exposure to horror can also strengthen our emotional resilience. By facing and overcoming fictional fears, we can build confidence in our ability to deal with real fear. This desensitization practice can make us less vulnerable to anxieties and phobias, improving our overall mental health. Additionally, horror can teach us valuable lessons about courage, perseverance, and the importance of facing our fears rather than avoiding them. Psychologically, horror also offers a form of escapism. In a world full of daily stresses and pressures, immersing ourselves in a horror story can be a way to temporarily escape reality. This type of escapism is not just a distraction, it can provide significant emotional relief, allowing us to relax and recharge our energies. By confronting fictional horrors, we can forget, even if for a brief moment, the challenges and concerns of everyday life. Furthermore, horror can serve as a mirror of society, reflecting and amplifying collective anxieties. Horror films and books often address relevant social and cultural themes, such as fear of the unknown, technological changes, and moral conflicts. By exploring these themes in an exaggerated and frightening way, horror allows us to examine and discuss important issues in a manner that would be difficult or uncomfortable in a more direct context. This aspect of horror makes it not only a form of entertainment but also a tool for social dialogue and introspection. Therefore, the need to experience fear is multifaceted and deeply rooted in our psychology. Horror allows us to explore and understand our most intense emotions in a safe environment, providing excitement and relief. It helps us confront deep fears, strengthen our emotional resilience, and escape from everyday reality. Additionally, horror offers us a way to reflect on and discuss important social and cultural issues. This complex web of factors ensures that horror will continue to fascinate and terrify people, maintaining its place as an essential element of the human experience. Horror stories also provide a form of catharsis. They allow us to confront our deepest fears in a safe way, which can be therapeutic and relieve tensions. This concept, explored by Noel Carroll in The Paradox of Horror, suggests that horror offers us an escape valve for the anxieties and tensions accumulated in our daily lives. When faced with terrifying situations in stories, we have the opportunity to experience and process intense emotions without facing real consequences. This cathartic process can be profoundly liberating, allowing us to release repressed fears and find a sense of relief and renewal. Horror also gives us the opportunity to explore darker aspects of the human condition that we would otherwise avoid. Issues such as mortality, loss, and the fragility of life are recurring themes in horror narratives. Confronting these themes in a fictional environment allows us to deal with our own existential concerns indirectly but significantly. Through horror stories, we can confront the inevitability of death and the uncertainties of the unknown, processing these realities in a way that may be less distressing than facing these issues directly in real life. In addition to catharsis, horror facilitates identification and empathy with the characters. As we immerse ourselves in the narrative, we experience their intense emotions and root for their survival, creating a deep emotional bond. This process of identification is crucial for the emotional impact of horror stories. When a character faces imminent danger, we also feel their anxiety, fear, and hope. This emotional connection makes us an integral part of the story, increasing the intensity of the experience and our emotional investment in the plot. The empathy generated by horror stories can also have a lasting effect on our perception and understanding of others. By putting ourselves in the characters' shoes and experiencing their fears and challenges, we expand our capacity for empathy and understanding of others' experiences. This emotional exercise makes us more sensitive to others' emotions and difficulties, which can enrich our interpersonal relationships and our ability to provide support and solidarity. The emotional bond created by horror is not limited to identification with the characters but also extends to the narrative itself. Through unexpected twists, increasing suspense, and moments of absolute terror, horror stories hold our attention and involvement. This intense emotional involvement can be a rewarding experience as it provides us with an immersive and emotionally charged escape from daily routine. Through horror, we find a form of entertainment that not only entertains us but also emotionally challenges us. Horror also offers us a unique opportunity to confront the unknown and the inexplicable. Horror stories often deal with phenomena that defy our understanding and logic, forcing us to confront the fear of the unknown. This confrontation can be a transformative experience as it helps us expand our mental horizons and question our own certainties and beliefs. Confronting the unknown in the safe context of a horror story prepares us, in a way, to deal with the uncertainties and mysteries of real life. Through horror, we also explore the duality of human nature. Horror narratives often expose both the best and the worst of humanity, revealing our capacity for courage, sacrifice, and compassion, as well as for fear, cruelty, and violence. This exploration of human nature in its entirety offers us a deeper understanding of ourselves and others, shedding light on the complexities and contradictions inherent in the human condition. Furthermore, horror stories often address themes of justice and morality, confronting us with ethical dilemmas and questions about good and evil. Through horror narratives, we can explore the consequences of our actions and choices, reflecting on moral issues in a safe and fictional context. This process of reflection can influence our own morality and ethics, helping us develop a clearer and more considered understanding of right and wrong. Ultimately, horror reminds us of the fragility and preciousness of life. By facing fictional horrors, we are constantly reminded of our own mortality and the things that truly matter. This confrontation with terror can motivate us to more intensely value our lives and relationships, appreciating moments of peace and joy with a new perspective. Ultimately, horror connects us to a fundamental part of the human experience, allowing us to explore and understand our fears, emotions, and values in deep and meaningful ways. Thus, the emotional aspects of horror are multifaceted and powerful. Through catharsis, identification, and empathy, horror stories provide us with a way to explore and understand our most intense emotions, relieving tensions and strengthening our emotional resilience. At the same time, horror offers us an opportunity for reflection and self-discovery, expanding our understanding of human nature and morality. For all these reasons, horror remains a vital and enriching part of the human experience, challenging us to confront our fears and value life in all its complexity and fragility. Terror stories often are collective experiences. We watch horror movies with friends, share scary tales online, and discuss theories. This social aspect strengthens our bond with the genre, turning fear into a point of connection between individuals. The experience of watching a horror movie in a crowded theater, where screams and nervous laughter mingle, or telling scary stories around a campfire, creates a sense of community and belonging. This collective experience of fear allows us to share intense emotions and, in doing so, reinforces our social ties. The sharing of horror stories online also plays a crucial role in contemporary horror culture. Platforms like Reddit, YouTube, and TikTok are flooded with scary tales, horror videos, and discussions about conspiracy theories and urban legends. This digital environment allows people from all over the world to connect and share their experiences and creations related to horror. The popularity of phenomena like creepypastas, viral horror stories on the internet, exemplifies how fear can be spread and amplified through social networks, creating a global community united by a fascination with terror. In addition to the digital aspect, the culture of terror manifests itself tangibly in events and conventions dedicated to the genre. Horror conventions, like the famous Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios parks, bring fans of all ages together to celebrate their love of the macabre. These events offer a total immersion in the universe of terror, with attractions, haunted houses, and encounters with genre icons. Participating in such events not only feeds our passion for terror but also reinforces the feeling of belonging to a community of enthusiasts who share similar interests. Events like Halloween exemplify how terror is incorporated into cultural traditions, reinforcing its role as a rite of passage and community celebration. Halloween, celebrated in many countries on October 31st, is a time of year when terror becomes a central part of the festivities. People of all ages dress up as monsters, ghosts, and other scary creatures, decorate their homes with carved pumpkins, and participate in themed parties. This annual ritual allows society to embrace fear in a playful and collective way, transforming terror into a celebration. Halloween is not just a party, it is a time when the boundaries between the real and the imaginary become blurred. Ghost stories and urban legends come to life, and children participate in the famous trick-or-treat, a tradition that mixes fear with fun. This collective ritual reinforces the importance of terror as a shared experience that transcends generations, allowing young and old to connect through the exploration of the macabre and the unknown. In addition to Halloween, other cultures around the world have their own terror traditions. In Mexico, the Day of the Dead celebrates the memory of deceased loved ones with decorated altars, special foods, and costume parades. While not strictly a horror event, it incorporates elements of respect and awe for the supernatural. In Asia, the Hungry Ghost Festival, celebrated in countries like China and Singapore, involves rituals to appease spirits and avoid misfortune, reflecting a cultural connection to the world of the dead. Terror also finds its place in literature and the arts, where it continues to evolve and reflect contemporary concerns. Writers like Stephen King and filmmakers like Jordan Peele use terror to explore social and political themes, addressing issues such as racism, inequality, and fear of the other. These works not only entertain but also provoke reflection and debate, demonstrating how terror can be a powerful tool for social criticism and introspection. The culture of terror is, therefore, multifaceted and rich, permeating various aspects of our lives and societies. It offers us a way to explore and express our deepest fears in a safe and shared context. By participating in traditions like Halloween, watching horror movies in groups, or engaging in online discussions about scary theories, we reaffirm our connection to the community and to the very essence of what it means to be human. In addition to serving as a form of entertainment and escapism, the culture of terror provides us with a platform to better confront and understand our own fears and anxieties. This process of collective and ritualistic exploration of fear strengthens our social bonds, promotes empathy, and offers insights into the human condition. Thus, terror continues to play a vital and indispensable role in our lives, reflecting and shaping how we deal with the unknown and the inexplicable. Our fascination with terror is multifaceted. It involves a blend of psychological and emotional needs, as well as cultural and social aspects. Since ancient times, fear has been an essential tool for survival, alerting us to dangers and shaping behaviors. However, terror also goes beyond mere biological function, offering an emotional catharsis that allows us to explore and relieve deep tensions. Through the excitement theory, we experience a roller coaster of emotions, where initial fear transforms into euphoric relief, reinforcing our desire to seek these frightening experiences. Psychologically, terror provides us with a means to confront our deepest fears in a safe environment. Identification with characters and experiencing their intense emotions give us a way to explore our own anxieties and uncertainties. This process not only strengthens our emotional resilience but also broadens our capacity for empathy and understanding towards others. The horror narrative allows us to reflect on the duality of human nature, confronting us with moral and ethical questions that enrich our understanding of good and evil. Culturally, terror plays a central role in our traditions and rituals. Events like Halloween and the Day of the Dead incorporate elements of fear and celebration, reinforcing the role of terror as a rite of passage and a community experience. Sharing scary stories online and participating in horror conventions create a sense of community and belonging, connecting people through a shared love for the macabre. This social aspect of terror strengthens our bonds and allows us to explore the unknown together, creating memories and shared experiences that endure. Terror also serves as a mirror of society, reflecting our contemporary anxieties and fears. Writers and filmmakers use the genre to address relevant social issues, using fear as a lens to explore complex and provocative questions. This use of terror as a tool for social critique and introspection demonstrates its ability to influence and enrich our understanding of the world around us. Through horror narratives, we are challenged to question our own beliefs and confront the uncomfortable realities of human existence. In summary, terror is an integral part of the human experience, providing a platform to explore and understand our most intense and primal emotions. Through catharsis, identification, and empathy, terror gives us a way to confront our fears and strengthen our emotional resilience. Culturally, it creates social bonds and traditions that reinforce our sense of community and belonging. And through its ability to reflect and critique society, terror remains a powerful force that challenges us to confront and understand the complexities of life. So, the next time you watch a horror movie or hear a scary story, remember, there is much more behind your fear than just scares and shadows. Terror connects us with our most primal emotions and offers us a window to better understand ourselves and the world around us. It challenges us to face the unknown and embrace the uncertainties of life with courage and curiosity. And now, with the lights dimmed and the atmosphere just right, let's prepare for another spine-chilling tale. Good night and sweet dreams, if you can.